Okay.
You're tuned in to Good Vibes with Miss Eclectic right here on News and Talk WAOK. I have a very special guest this evening. I'm really excited on this evening. Award-winning social activist. She's a best-winning, a selling author. She's amazing. You could catch her on a Beyonce song. I mean, you could catch her out on the front lines. We have Tamika Mallory. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm in New Orleans right now in the middle of Mardi Gras. So I had a book event here, a book signing event last night, and I'm actually in the process of getting ready to leave to travel to the next city. And so I'm sitting here like in a corner trying to be quiet.
No, you're living the life. There's nothing like the culture in New Orleans. So hey,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I love. I've never been to Mardi Gras. It's a little bit too many people for me, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It depends on when you're here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So that's
So
yeah, you're right. It depends on it. I've been to Essence Fest, all the great things, but I'm a little claustrophobic, just a tad bit. So I said Mardi Gras. I'm not too sure. Well, listen, you grew up around activism. Your parents, as a young girl, did you think this was going to be me? Did you think you were going to fall into that legacy, or you thought you were going to take a whole different trajectory?
I think that I'm sorry, there's a little bit of
Right.
commotion going on right here, but yeah, I don't know if I knew I was gonna get into activism, but my parents certainly did not allow anybody to stay in their house and not be focused on something that had to do with Black empowerment. So just like, you have families where church is very important. You're gonna go every single Sunday, no matter whether you like, wanna or whatever. That's how it was for us with Black empowerment spaces. Monday through Saturday, my parents had us doing some type of community based activity. And so I didn't know that I was going to be involved in it because, to be quite honest, the influence of the housing projects that I was growing up in with young people who weren't in any kind of movement, they were hanging out, having a good time, and dressing fashionable, and I was in penny loafers. So, I what I do know is that I wanted more to be like those kids. I wanted to be more like what I saw in Belly and New Jack City and all of that.
Yep.
That's what I thought was cool. And I thought my parents were literally were trying to keep me in prison.
You were like, this is not the life, right?
This is not it, mom and dad. Like, why do I gotta wear dashikis? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. I want to wear Pele Pele jackets, 5411 hot tops, and big bamboo earrings. And this is not fitting my lifestyle. So when I was young, I strayed away a lot, and eventually I found myself just getting into all kinds of things because I was trying to break free of what I thought what wasn't cool. But now I realize that my parents are really just trying to set me up for a strong future.
Absolutely. I'm a church kid, so I know it don't matter what you do on Saturday night. You getting up and you're gonna be in the choir stand on Sunday
And
morning.
stuff, yes, sir. And maybe going to we weren't um we weren't as much like we were in the church. My mother went every Sunday. My dad didn't go, but we didn't do Bible study. But my cousins had to go to Bible study.
Mhm.
Okay. They really were in church. Yeah, so
I know all
it
the
is what
Bible
it
study,
is.
vacation Bible school Sundays. Listen, don't take
Yes,
you can
yes.
back to the. But one thing I love about you is so many people they walk the walk, they don't, but they well I should say they talk the talk, don't walk the walk. But you do it all. You have so many social media influencers who are just out. They claim to be social activists, but they're really not. You know, right?
You know the truth, huh? You know the
You know
story.
that, and it's so easy to people to jump on the bandwagon because they say, "Oh, such and such has so many followers; they must be really doing it." But you never see the action behind it.
Yeah, I mean, the internet thing is really problematic.
It
And we
really
are
is.
actually in a time where there's a lot of misinformation that's out there, and everybody is an expert, and people don't know what they're talking about. They don't have real understanding of strategy, how to build movements. They just mad or they're just a hater and they just got something to say. And some of them have big profiles and they look really good because they talking all of that real stuff. They telling you, fight for yourself, fend for yourself, you don't need diversity, equity, and inclusion. What you need that for, what you need. And really, these people don't know what they're talking about at all. They have no real understanding about history. Thank you. They have no real understanding about history. They don't understand the struggles that people have gone through to create avenues, not just for us to have jobs, but also uh, okay. And also for us to have contracts within these corporations because we're spending our money with them. If you have a company, like for instance, we're specifically focused on Target,
Right.
um, and we're boycotting Target. And we look at a Target that is able to come into our communities, set up shop, make millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, and you telling me that we shouldn't be challenging them to give the security company, a black security company, the contract, or the trucks that are bringing the supplies back and forth to make sure that they're people of color or that they're vendors on the shelves. You telling me that we shouldn't demand that? You telling me that the government that takes our tax dollars, we shouldn't be holding them accountable and saying that we want a percentage of our tax dollars to go back into our community to make sure that our people get good government jobs and have health care. That's what you're telling me? Like, this is not a favor. No one is looking for a handout. And when I hear some of these folks that have become super duper famous on the internet telling our people that we don't need to worry about those things, it really is, it's pretty dangerous and scary to me because again, we're not talking about just a $10 per hour job. We're talking about whole contracts that people of color have been able, and black folks, not just, anybody,
Yeah.
black folks
Yeah.
have actual, supplier contracts with these big companies because of work that was done and a foundation that was laid some time ago. And so I just find it to be very interesting that we're in a time where people are experts at everything. And really, they're not necessarily experts. They need to be sitting at the feet of their elders and learning more about the struggles that we've come through.
Come on, you better speak today. Speak for the people in the back. It's so true because that's the things. There's no accountability. There's
That's
no
right.
regulations, no guidelines. People just get on. They have a camera and a mic and just get on and say what they say, and they gaslight the people and they fall for it.
Yeah, and people they lie a lot. I mean, the internet, that YouTube situation is full of people who just make up any kind of story and they go with it. And next thing you know, you caught in the middle of a scandal that you don't even know anything about because people could just say they turn their camera on and say whatever they want. So it's a dangerous thing. And I think that we have a responsibility to use shows like yours and other places where people can get real information, where the information is being vetted to push back against these theories. We have to ask real questions. We have to ask people, to give some level of not just accountability, but like, who are you and how do you know what you're talking about? Like, what is your skill set? What have you built? What have you led that has actually made progress in any particular time for our people? And I think when you start asking those questions, you begin to see the real from the fake.
Absolutely. They can't take account for their credibility. So you're absolutely correct on that. What can the average person do? Because we're a lifestyle show. What can the average person do? It used to be politics over here, trending news and entertainment's over here, but now it's all together. Like politics is the new trending news. For somebody who's saying, I'm not really into politics, I really don't know, what can they do? They know about diversity, equity, inclusion. They know about the boycotts, but what can they do as a constituent? Can they talk to their congressman? Like just give us a tidbit on what the average person
Yeah,
can do.
well, this is a different time because we're in a situation where we don't have power over in terms of having balance in power or people who really represent our best interests in political in the federal government right now. We have one party that controls three branches of the government plus the Supreme Court. Um, and therefore, we're in a challenge situation. So I think that the boycotts are important because if you have $1.8 trillion that is at your disposal as a people, that's what Black people spend in this economy. And we start to pull our money, the corporations will be speaking for us. When they're meeting on a golf course and they're meeting at their whatever their GOP fundraisers, they'll be saying, hey, we're having some problems because the Negroes is getting upset and they're not spending as much money as we used to. What should we do? I think you got to take out one company and then you continue. And I don't think that because Black people boycott, that one company will completely fail because there are other communities that have money as well. But our spending power is a big part of what these companies depend on. So I think we have to do that. We have to look at all the different companies we're spending money with and see where they stand. Why is it that one airline can say that they still stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and another one says that they don't? You have to make the right decisions with your money. But then beyond that, there's going to be the midterm elections coming up where we do have an opportunity to balance power. Then there will be a presidential election, hopefully in the next 4 years. And
Right.
so for now, with the 2 years coming, we cannot be fire drill organizers. We have to be understanding that we got 2 years. Now is the time to find out who's running. What do I need to do to educate myself? How do I need to get my community together to raise our little money to help this candidate move about? Money matters. Money matters. So if you're not putting 25, $30 in someone's campaign once a week, once a month, whatever you can do, because if 10 of us do it, and then 20 of us, and then 100 of us do $35. Imagine what that will do to help that candidate be able to compete on a real large scale level. And so that's what we've got to look at. How do we begin doing that right now? And people love to tell me that they don't know, they can't figure it out. And yet you see videos of folks standing online for hours and hours at the sneaker store trying to get the next whatever brand that's
Right.
coming out. So we know how to research. Beyonce's tickets are a challenge every year to go around. It's a whole experience to get your ticket, and the stadiums are sold out largely with our people. That means that we do know how to research. We do know how to figure things out. We just have to commit ourselves that we're interested in figuring this particular thing out and be very, very committed to it.
I love everything you just said. Speaking again for the people in the back. If you're just now tuning in, we have award-winning social activist and best-selling author Tamika Mallory. Tamika, the new book, which I am excited about. You're going to be in Atlanta on this
Yes.
in. My mom
Yes,
used
I
to always
am.
tell me, yes, she used to say, just keep living. So you live to tell the story.
Yes, just keep living. That is something I've heard my mother say many times. You'll see, just keep
Just
living.
keep
And
living,
so,
right.
yes, I do have an event at the Gathering Spot. A whole host of my friends, from Pinky Cole to Kim Blackwell, Rachel Nordlinger, the Fearless Fun, Arian Simone, who else? Andy and Mendices. The list goes on. I don't want to get myself in trouble for Ryan Wilson from the Gathering Spot. They are all hosting an event for me at 2 p.m. on this Sunday, the 23rd, February 23rd at 2 p.m. There will be a book signing. You can go to tamikadmallory.com and you can find in the books under the book tour tab the all the dates for where I am across the country. It needs to be updated, but for now, all of the dates are there. And the you can click there to get a ticket. The ticket is $40, which includes a little bit of food, as well as you get a book, a signed copy of my book. You're going to be a part of a reading and hear from some people who will be reading chapters that they were involved in my life. Different times when they actually had to step in to help me, or different things that I've dealt with. It's going to be funny. It's going to be incredible. And so if you're listening, please come out, go to my website, Tamika D Mallory /tour, and you can get tickets for Sunday, the 23rd at 2 p.m. That's in 2 days from now. And it will be at the Gathering Spot. And it's going to be a really, really good time.
I love it. We love the Gathering Spot, and we love to take a journey into your life because you have such a fulfilling life and you're still impacting us on today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Goodbye.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much. There's one last question. The show's called Good Vibes. What's that song you listen to? 'Cause I know you have to stay motivated. You have to stay empowered. What's that song you listen to that makes you have a good vibe?
Well, girl, I'm ratchet. So sometimes I'm listening to, like, get it sexy. Like that could be my vibe right there. But I don't know. I would say that I have a lot of great music. One of my favorite songs that I'm listening to right now is I'm back to Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It. Because that thing changed me. They put a club tune to it. It was so good,
You know, he has
right?
an R&B album out right now.
I know. I love Marvin Sapp. So there's so much music. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
draw down on one particular song. But I know God's been so good to me. And so that's a big part of it. But I am definitely just like you. And if somebody pops a sexy red or something like that on, I that's how I get good vibes. That's how I get a good time going in my life. I'm just like everybody else. People think that I don't have fun. No, I actually do. And not to say that fun has to look like one thing or the other, but I'm saying that I'm a very diverse. I'm a multi-dimensional individual. I don't live in one bubble. I have many different parts and areas and things that I enjoy, and I know that everybody else feels the same way. I'm just a roundaway girl like all the rest of us.
I love around the way, girl. Come on now. That's the way.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Tamika Mallory, thank you so much for stopping by. Good vibes. Make sure y'all go out this Sunday, the gathering spot. Get your tickets. They're only $40. And you get a book and you get to meet her in person. It's going to be amazing. So make sure you stop by. It's Good Vibes on News and Talk, WAOK. Thank you so
Thank you so much.
Good vibe with Miss Eclectic.